Yo. Yeah, the bar music carried on playing. The normal music carried on playing. I forgot to turn that off and put the normal one on. I think because
you had too long off, bro.
I had too long off, innit?
Because he's been on the sick, he's forgot how to do his job now, innit? You know what I mean?
Forgot how to do my job. It's actually funny that today, right? I was thinking. Because I was like, I'm still not like better in it, but I was like, I want to like, I said like I want to do a stream like yesterday. I said to Lewis in it, I'm doing the stream with you, like, no matter what in it. I was thinking like this morning, like if I was proper ill, right, and I had a job, I would not go and do my job in it. But it just shows that we like this job in it because I want to do this in it. Do you know what I mean? I've missed it because I've been seeing you doing your streams and that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
watching you do some mad formations and that.
Yeah, nice. It's good to have you back, Bray. Yes, guys. Hope you're all doing well. This is a morning stream today. We're going to be talking about Reece James and basically whatever. It's going to be a pretty chill stream, you know what I mean? A little reminiscent of when Jordan used to his morning streams, you know what I mean? But the focus will be on sort of Reece James. And again, on our right back situation, on the left back, because there's so many different opinions that people are giving me in the last couple of streams. Big Steve as well yesterday. People giving loads of different opinions on what City should do with the defence. Everyone seems to have a different opinion on whether they want a left back, whether they want a right back, whether Zinchenko should go, whether Cancelo should be our starting left back or whether he should be a backup right back. There is really lots and lots of different opinions, man. So we're going to get into that. Make sure you guys are firing us your ideas in the chat as well so we can see what you guys are saying. Before we get started, please drop a like on the stream, guys. Early morning stream. This is hard to get up this early, innit? So please drop a thumbs up on the stream. We're currently at 117 likes, 350 people in the stream. Let's see if we can get up to 150. You know what I mean? Like little baby steps, Bray. Get to 150 likes.
It's funny how you say it is hard to get up. It's 10 past 11, isn't it? Like,
Bray, it's a difficult situation, you know what I mean?
It is YouTube life, isn't it? Late nights and that.
I see some people in the stream as well saying, why are you doing a stream this early? I'm still in bed as well. So
to be fair, I'm sure Tom was in the chat before and was like saying that he's in bed.
Guys, as well, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're about 650 subscribers away from 55k, man. 650. There surely must be a few people in the stream who aren't subscribed. So please make sure you drop a sub on the channel. And today's stream is sponsored by the guys at Manscaped. We'll run that ad in a few minutes' time. But let's get into the chat, bro. Reece James. First of all, what are your thoughts on Reece James? Well, where would you put Reece James right now in terms of, like, where is he in the world at right back, you know what I mean, in terms of ability and that? Where do you reckon?
Yeah, he's very, 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 very good. I know that, the thing is, for me, Kyle Walker is the best right back in the world. I know like people are like, Trent and that. Do you know what I mean? Kyle Walker is the best right back in the world for me.
Yeah.
Trent is very good going forward. I think Trent is probably the best attacking right back if you consider like Cancelo being a left back. I think Reece James kind of moulds the two. Like he's good, really good going forward. Reece James is sick. However, he's really good defensively as well. Yeah. And that's what I like about him. For me, he is the Kyle Walker replacement. I know, by the way, I've seen a lot of people, by the way, as soon as I scheduled this stream last night, people were like, they were like, this is trash. This ain't going to happen. It's unrealistic. And as unrealistic as it may be, City have been, apparently they do admire Reece James and that.
As most clubs probably will.
Yeah, and that doesn't exactly mean that a transfer will happen this summer. It could just be City putting out the feelers out there, maybe so Reece James sees it.
Well, if you look back at the Khaldoon interview, and by the way, I want to do a stream. Maybe tonight's stream we can do a Khaldoon review video because
maybe we do it after part 2 drops.
Yeah.
Part 2 drops. We'll do a live stream in it because I'm not sure when part 2 will be.
Well, but there's a lot of stuff in that part 1 though, so maybe we do 2 separate streams.
True that,
review. But maybe we'll do that tonight. But in that interview, which again we'll cover more tonight when we do it, Khaldoon says they've been tracking Erling Haaland for 5 years.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So they might have been tracking Reece James. I seen Reece James in the academy at Chelsea many years ago. I'm sure I've seen that guy. Yeah, and so they might have been tracking him for a few years, and now they're like, this guy's getting pretty sick. Reece James is in this kind of awkward situation because, by all accounts, is a diehard Chelsea fan. You know what I mean? He's a bit like basically their Phil Foden. Yeah. The problem is for him, and what I don't think Chelsea fans are realising is it's different between Mason Mount, and Reece James, because Reece James, Mason Mount, is a very, very good footballer. I really, really like Mason Mount. I think he's a top player. I've seen him playing in the academy for Chelsea against City many, many times, and he used to rip us apart all the time. The difference between Mason Mount and Reece James is Mason Mount, for me, in my personal opinion, is just that slight level below where you need to be for a title-winning side. My personal opinion, many people will disagree, that's completely fine. Reece James, on the other hand, he's not. He's at that level. If, for example, if we took out Kyle Walker, set aside injuries, because I know Reece James had his injury problems this season. If you took out Kyle Walker from our side next season and put Reece James in there, I don't think you'd see much of a difference, and I don't think that would be the difference between us winning the league and not winning the league, or winning a cup and not winning a cup. You know what I mean? I don't think there's that much difference. I think Reece James is already a top class player. Therefore, whilst Chelsea fans will say, "Oh, Reece James will never leave," he's a diehard Chelsea fan, and Sir Alan's just come in the chat there with an $8 and put he'll never leave Chelsea. You might say that, Sir Alan, but if he's got 3 years left on his contract, if in sort of 2 years' time, Reece James, he'll probably be, in my opinion, the best right back in the world in 2 years' time. That's my view. If in 2 years' time Chelsea are nowhere close to Liverpool and City winning the league, and his contract's up for renewal, and City or Liverpool probably won't knock on the door because they've got Trent, but City might knock on the door because Walker's getting on and say, Trent, look, Reece, look, mate, you're at Chelsea, we get it, you're the boy of club, but you're not winning Premier Leagues there. Come to City and you can win Premier Leagues and challenge for multiple trophies every single season. There's got to be there's a question that's going to be asked to Reece James, which is a horrible question. Do you stay at Chelsea where you're doing all right? They might be picking up a few trophies. They'll certainly probably be playing Champions League football, but I don't think they'll be competing for the top prizes at Chelsea in the next few years, whereas City will be. That's obviously, it all depends again on this ownership. How much money are these guys going to throw at it?
It does depend on, like, obviously what they're going to throw at the team. But Tuchel is known to do well in the Champions League. I mean, he does get them to a good place in the Champions League, and he might just like that. You know what I mean? He might just be like, cup competitions are my way. Obviously, they got to the final of the FA Cup.
They did, and we backed him on that.
Cup.
We backed him on that, but I'm also nice because this ain't a sly dig at Tuchel. Me and you both said when Tuchel came into Chelsea that we think Chelsea could win the Champions League that season, didn't we? That was at the last 16 stage. So we backed Tuchel, we backed Chelsea at that point.
He's a very, very, very good cup manager.
Yeah, I think Tuchel's. I don't think Tuchel can do nothing at Chelsea. My personal opinion. I don't think he'll win Champions League again at Chelsea, and I don't think he'll win the league again. That's my opinion. And if that's true, which might not be true by the way, but if that's true, will Reece James still want to be there in 3 years' time when City and Liverpool are winning all these trophies?
That's true.
Maybe Real Madrid will come in through because I've seen Real Madrid
apparently is circling the situation. Prokash with a 2 says, wishing Jordy speedy recovery. Love from New Zealand. Yes. Is NZ New Zealand, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Prokash. Appreciate that, mate. Innit? I'm on the mend, innit? That's why I'm here. The thing with Reece James is, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if I'm sure I've seen later on YouTube there, I swear he's getting a new contract. I think there's James in contract talks, Alf Haaland says. He is in contract talks at the moment with Chelsea. They want to time down to a new 5-year deal, which makes sense because obviously they're like, let's just put these rumours to bed. Now, are City maybe putting this out there to bring in doubts for that contract situation? Like, obviously, I don't see us going for Reece James this summer personally.
No, we're not.
It's not going to be a this year thing. Basically, it's a future thing. Our City going, let's get some stuff about us admiring. Do you know what I mean? City admiring Reece James and that to maybe turn his head a bit and go, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sign that contract. I could wait. Do you know what I mean?
Or why not? Why not insert a release clause? If you're Reece James, basically what you're saying is, I will stay at Chelsea as long as Chelsea stay at the top of the game. If Chelsea are winning trophies and we're the team to beat, I will stay at Chelsea. And I completely agree with Sir Alex. He'll never leave Chelsea. I'd put as long as Chelsea competing for trophies, right? Which this season they've not done, other than getting to 2 finals and losing them both. He wants the major trophies. So if I was Reece James, I'd be saying something along the lines of like, look, I love Chelsea, yeah? So I want to stay at Chelsea. I'll sign a new deal, But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll insert a release clause, and it can be after 2 years. Let's give Chelsea some time to bed this new ownership model in and to get things right. They might need to make a few changes. After 2 years, there's a release clause where if you've not won the Premier League or the Champions League in the next 2 years, a release clause. A release that for me, I don't know whether you can do that. But I don't see why you couldn't. If you don't win the Champions League or the Premier League within the next 2 years, that tells me that Chelsea are not competing for the top prizes, and therefore, after 2 years, a release clause is then activated where it's 75 million. They're still getting top cash. 75 million would make him the most expensive fullback in world football. If he backs himself to be the best right back in world football, I think most teams would pay 75 million if he's the best right back. And Chelsea, it's on Chelsea then. The only way that release clause becomes activated is if they don't win a top prize. And if it does become activated, they're getting top cash anyway. I think that's a really good way for Reece James and Chelsea as well. Because if Chelsea are confident that they can give Reece James and Chelsea what they need, then they shouldn't be worried about that. You know what I mean? They've got 2 years to go and win the Premier League.
If they back themselves,
I think that's a really good contract release clause. I think it's fair, and I think both parties should be reasonably happy with it. Because no one's roasting each other. 75 million is still a lot of money for a fullback. It's the most expensive fullback in the world. I think in 2 years' time, I'm looking at Carvajal, bro, right back for Real Madrid. He's 30 years old. So, in 2 years' time, he'd be, 32? He'd be getting on. So they need to be looking at right back.
They definitely will be circling.
Walker, I think, will be 33, 34.
Yeah. So,
again, you know what I mean? I just think something like... if I was Reece James, I'd be happy to sign the deal. But if I was him... I'd be looking at what happened to Harry Kane across the road, and I'd be going, you know what? There's no chance I'm having that happen to me. I'm inserting a release clause into this deal. And something like that, I think, would protect the player and would protect the club because the fee would be so high.
Yeah, I mean, you are right in what you're saying. That would be a good deal in the sense of, do you know what I mean, the player, he's protected. He knows that if things don't go his way, he can get out of that club quite easily. If someone wants to pay the money.
There says release clause if you don't win PL or UCL. Sounds wild, bro, but
it does sound wild.
It's not that wild because at the end of the day, I think Reece James is probably right now top 4, top 5 right backs in the world. I believe already. I think in 2 years' time, I think he'll be the best fullback in world football because I think he's got everything to his game. So the best player in any position, whether you're goalkeeper, right back, centre mid, striker, should be winning trophies and should be winning the top trophies. This year, they've not won nothing, right? I don't think they're going to win anything next year. The year after, maybe they'll compete. If you're the best right back in the world, and how old will he be at that point? How old is he now? Reece James. 25? He's 22. So at that point,
so he's 22?
Yeah, he'll be 24 at that point. At that point, yeah, he's had 2 years as potentially the best fullback in the world, and he's not won any trophies in that 2 year period. And City or Real Madrid come knocking on the door, which is very possible. If you look at Carvajal's age and Walker's age, it's very possible that one of them two teams could come knocking. You've got to ask questions.
Thing is, I think the team, this whole thing all depends on Reece James. It all depends on what he wants to do. This guy might be diehard Chelsea for life, bro.
He might be, but if you're the best player in the world, you got to be winning the best trophies, in my opinion.
Look at Harry Kane, though.
Well, you're right, but he did want to leave.
Yeah, but also,
he did want to leave, but he just couldn't.
But Reece James won the Champions League recently.
He did, yeah, but I'm saying like.
So he is winning things.
Well, he won things 2 seasons ago. If you consider this season,
yeah, but they did get to 2 finals and a quarter.
Lost them both. Yeah,
but he's getting there.
Yeah, but they're not winning. That's what I'm saying. They're not winning these trophies. And that's why this release clause is a fair release clause.
No. I agree. I agree with the release clause thing. That.
If you
that's
win
good. If he can insert that thing, that's good. It protects himself.
Because then the club can't have any complaints. Because he'll go, well, I've had 2 years here, and the best player in the world in my position. You've been spending all this money. You've had one of the best managers in the world, apparently, in Tuchel. He's up there anyway, and we've not won nothing. City are asking if I can come play for them. Well, guaranteed trophies. So it's not really on. It's on Chelsea to deliver. If Chelsea don't want to lose Reece James, Chelsea got to deliver a plan and a manager and a team that can win trophies. It's quite simple.
Okay, so say 2 years' time, right? He has this release clause. He does a new deal this year, new 5-year deal, yeah?
Yeah.
Release clause comes in after 2 years' time if they're not won anything.
Yeah.
How much is that release clause?
If they've not won anything.
Yeah, how much?
I think 75 million would be fair. I think 75 million... That's 25 million.
For the best right back in the world?
Well, Kyle Walker was up there. He's 50 million. I think 75 million will put him as the most expensive fullback of all time by quite a mile, by quite some distance. It's not like a rip-off price, I mean, how much can you really pay for a fullback? You know what I mean? It's difficult, isn't it, to assess?
It is
That's why I think 75 million is a fair price. He'd become the most expensive fullback of all time. But you can't be putting £100 million because no one's going to pay £100 million for a fullback. That's not going to happen. But I think 75 million in 2 years for the best fullback in the world, I think clubs would consider it.
The thing for me is, right, and as much as people can be like, it's not happening. And yeah, it might not happen, innit? This might just be like well out of our reach. But City definitely looking at him. Real Madrid, like you say, will be definitely looking at him because we're two clubs with an aging right back, who would time perfectly with Reece James. Like, for me, Reece James is the perfect Kyle Walker replacement. He's the perfect Kyle Walker replacement. It'd be so good. But obviously, as things happen, do you know what I mean? We can't really control the destinies of other players and that. But as much as it is like a dream kind of thing, it's still a good conversation to have. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are like, oh, it's not happening kind of thing. But it's still a good conversation to have, like 100%. At the end of the day, if City are admiring him at the moment. Obviously, it's not going to happen anytime soon, but it's one for the future. It's one to look at. Sky's limited to 179. It's a shame to see Big Steve leave YouTube. Yeah, I seen him last night on the Big Six show, and Skullfuggery did a madness with like a best bits video, and he did an ending video as well, which was well sad. I messaged Steve afterwards and I was like, yo, nearly had me crying then. What are you doing? Yeah, but it is sad. It is sad. But he's had a good time there and that. And it's on his own terms that he's leaving, which is the best part about it. Like, he's chose himself to do this. Patrick Holly with the 20 months. Yes, Patrick. He says, got plenty of painkillers, JP, if you need them. The actual painkillers that you've got there, Patrick. I feel like it's not. Nah, I'm off the meds, innit? Can't be taking no more painkillers. I'm rattling.
Anthony Gaming, yes, just sent a $5 donor. It says, I'm really concerned about a transfer, Man City. Is there any more updates for a transfer? We need a new right winger. Well, we need a new right winger if Sterling leaves and Jesus, in my opinion. I agree with you. And that's why I don't think City will let Sterling leave this summer. I think City would rather just let Sterling leave on a free next season than sell him this year than going for a right winger, because I don't think we're really prepared for that. So,
however, if they are looking, because City will have a list, if they feel like there is someone out there achievable to get, and then at that point we probably would go get a right winger. Like say Sterling's like, I want to leave this summer, sell me, and Gabby's already gone, then I think that's when the interest will and the rumours will start flying through the roof of like Rafael Leao. Basically, if the Leao rumours start taking off and going big, and that we're interested, Sterling's leaving.
Yeah, I just think that. I think it's a real risk, man. You know what I mean?
No, I don't want him to go. I don't want him to go at all. I don't want Sterling to go. No way do I want Sterling to go. Well, I think we've both been very, very clear in our thing of we want Sterling to stay because we think he'll do well under. With Haaland there. However, if Sterling turns around and says, I want to leave, I think it's gonna be a difficult position for the club, isn't it? So I reckon they will sell him, and maybe Leao is the one, but he's expensive him.
Yeah.
Although I think he doesn't have long on his contract. He's not agreed a new deal yet.
Yeah, we'll have to see on that one. Guys, if you've not done so already, please drop a like on the stream. We're currently on 258 likes, just over 650 people in the stream. Good morning to you all, or good evening from the other side of the world. Hopefully you're all doing well. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. 650 subscribers away from 55,000, man, so we're getting close. Stream today is sponsored by Manscaped. I promised you the ad before. We'll now roll the ad in it. 85% of partners prefer a man who is groomed below the waist, and 96% of partners think bad grooming is a major turn-off. That's where Manscaped have come in to help us all out, including myself, lads. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a trimmer specifically designed with our crown jewels in mind. It has skin-safe technology to reduce those nicks and cuts and gives you the maximum confidence while trimming below the waist. It's also IPX7 waterproof rated, so you can operate in wet or dry conditions. It has a premium 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology and a massive 90-minute battery time, which is supported by its wireless electromagnetic charging function. With the Performance Package 4.0, you'll get the Crop Reviver with witch hazel and powerful odor defense. This keeps your balls protected after a good shave. Crop Preserver with its soothing aloe vera and advanced quick absorbing cream, keeping your balls feeling fresh and hydrated. And the Weed Whacker to trim ear and nose hair. The Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep you the most groomed man in the room. Use our code EXTRA20 XTRA20 at checkout and you'll save yourself 20% off your order and receive free international shipping.
Yes. Go get a Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, 20% off. Use code extra20 and you get free shipping as well. It's sick. It's actually mint.
Boom, boom, boom. Assist King, yes, sends a 179 super donation. Thanks a lot, Brit. He says, Reece James is worth 50 to 60 million pounds max. You might be right, but in 2 years' time, if he's the best fullback in the world and with the way like transfer fees just go up and up and up and up and kind of stuff, you know, I think 75 million probably would be overpaying, but if it's a release clause, you don't even have to negotiate with the opposition club. I think that teams would still consider 75 million. I think if you go above that, it's difficult for a fullback. But I think if you come to me in 2 years' time and say, Reece James is the best fullback in the world, 75 million, we need a new right back, I think City would consider that. I do. I genuinely think it. All Blue, yes, sends a £2 dono. It says, reports say Chelsea are looking at getting Hakimi. I've seen that as well.
Well, they were interested in Hakimi before he went to PSG as well, which was weird. I always thought that was weird because they had Reece James. I was like, why are they going for a Hakimi? Yeah. That's such a weird transfer to go for when they've got obviously a sick guy in Reece James. But if Hakimi comes, and I know he's at PSG at the moment, I think. If Hakimi comes, I think that'd definitely throw things in the mix. Because then Reece James, if Hakimi starts playing more than Reece James might be looking at this going, I'm not getting as much game time as I should here.
Yeah, maybe it's to do. Has he got a really bad injury record? I know he was out for a lot this season.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on his injury history here now on Transfermarkt, see what he's saying. Okay, yeah, he does get injured quite a bit. Since 1920 season, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different injuries.
In 3 years, he had 10 different injuries. 3 years.
1920, 2021, 2022. Yeah, 3 years, he's had 9 different injuries, bro. Was it 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 different injuries in 3 years.
Yeah. He missed 16 games, 2 games. That's 18, 20, 21, 24, 35, 36, 7, 8, 42, 43 games. That's not the best, that really, is it?
No, that stings, that, doesn't it? I just do it when you just like say that. It's like, right, let's cancel the stream.
He's had 3 ankle injuries. So maybe he got issues with his ankles. 2 hamstrings, couple of muscle injuries, a fitness injury. What the fuck that is? I don't know what that is.
Siski in the chat, by the way, he says that he saw Haaland in Manchester. Oh, when did you see him?
Yes, Brie.
That's sick. Anthony Gaming says he's very concerned about City's transfer business. Do I need to be worried? We need about 6 players. I don't necessarily think we need 6 players. If you look at our team, you could say that we need 1 fullback. You could go with a backup CDM, and we've got 2 strikers.
Yeah.
I don't think basically, if we sign a fullback and a left back, I think that is like a 10 out of 10 window.
I don't think we need 6 players, man. I think we need a fullback and
a CDM.
You could even argue that we don't even need a CDM. If you say Gundo is a number 6, if you plays a little bit more in the number 8 role.
Yeah. If you wanted to just drop Gundo back,
I think the fullback is the main issue, which is obviously what everyone keeps on talking about, and again, which is why we've kind of done the stream today, because we'll come on to that now. But yeah, I don't think we need 6 players, bro. And if we do need 6 players, it's because other players are leaving. So that's fair. So I want to talk about, because obviously I think we've said everything that we needed to now about Reece James, unless anyone else wants to add some stuff today. Is there any other sort of right backs out there that you think could fit the mould, including some of these academy players? You know that we've got Rico Lewis coming through the academy. I've seen him, very, very good, promising player. Looks like a potential Pep player as well. Issa Kabore, never really not seen him in a City shirt. However, again, very promising, doing bits for Troyes, and obviously got in the AFCON team of the tournament. You got Jan Kuto, a lot of hype about him when he signed for City. Sort of gone down now. You're not really hearing too much about Yankuto. So a lot of people saying he's probably a little bit too attacking. Maybe he's a sort of like a wing back. Maybe he would work in sort of a 5 at the back. Not too sure if he fits in a 4 at the back sort of formation. And then obviously other players who we could just go and sign, like we might be doing with Cucurella. Other players in the transfer market that we could potentially go and sign that might fit the way that we play, and obviously Pep Guardiola's tactics. So I know Ann Marsden just put someone in, and I know you're a big fan of him. Jack Stefan there as well. Lamptey, you're a massive fan of Lamptey, aren't you?
I like Lamptey. I know. There are people that don't rate him. I do think he's very light, so I feel like he can get bullied off the ball a bit. But I really like Lamptey. I think he's just great going forward kind of thing. He's rapid as well. But if you say to me, would I like Lamptey or would I? I mean, do you want to go pay cash for Lamptey, or just give it to one of these upcoming academy players? I'd probably say like Issa Kabore, something like that. I've never actually seen him, but I'd like to see something like that happen at the club where the right back spot is basically you have Kyle Walker and then his understudy kind of thing is someone from our academy. Pedro Porro, I know. Sporting have activated their thing to buy him. He's already signed for Sporting now. I'm pretty sure he's not a City player technically anymore, and we have a £40 million buyback. I think it is. Now that's obviously a shout. I think Real Madrid are circling in. Loads of teams are circling Pedro Porro as like a big Donny. Like a lot of people saying City basically fucked up with the Porro deal. Like we should have been onto him because he actually meant. Is it a 20 million buyback? 20 million buyback is decent, and City will definitely be looking at this. Just like Angelino, we bought it. Basically, Real Madrid start coming in for all these people. City just go, yep, we'll activate the buyback, we'll get him back, and then they'll decide if they want to keep him or sell him. Just like Angelino.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a mad one. There's some good suggestions here, to be fair. I'm seeing, obviously, people saying Egan Riley, Spence, Dest. Rory says, why don't we go for Hakimi? Who else are people saying here? Ricardo Pereira, Matty Cash, Ricardo Sanchez, Ricardo Pereira again. Tino Livramento, obviously very promising. It's look like a pretty sick player. There's a lot of players out there who are decent fullbacks. My thing with players like Lamptey, I'm sort of in. I think you just touched on it a little bit there. Actually, I'm sort of in the thing with Lamptey. Whereas if we're going to get Lamptey, I'd rather us, to be honest, just get one of these young academy players. I'd rather us, because Lamptey comes in, he's going to be a backup to Kyle Walker. He does seem very lightweight, which you did say, and I think I'd just rather have Rico Lewis or someone like Kabore. Now, obviously, we'll need to look at how these play, because these players will travel with Manchester City with the pre-season, and we'll need to see how these players, play against teams like Bayern Munich.
This is another reason why pre-season is good, is because you see these younger players finally actually get a chance. Because I think you actually see Issa Kabore in pre-season.
I'd like to see Issa Kabore. There's a lot of hype about this guy, and obviously to get in the AFCON team at a tournament, you must be semi-decent. So I'm kind of excited to do that. Apparently, he had a good season last season as well in France. So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see Rico Lewis more. I want to see him maybe with the over 18s, with the adults basically, and see how he gets on there. This is why pre-season this summer is going to be a madness, and we need to check it out.
It is going to be an interesting one.
Godley's a massive fan of Matty Cash. Well, Matty Cash is actually a good player. I've seen Matty Cash a few times now, and look, he can do a job. I think he's decent defensively. He's semi-decent going forward. He's clearly a good player. The question there is, Godley, is you bring in a player like Matty Cash. I don't think Matty Cash becomes our number one right back in 2 or 3 years when Kyle Walker leaves the football club. So if you're bringing in Matty Cash as a backup to Walker, that's fine. But then in 3 years' time, you are going to have to, in my opinion, you will have to go out there and sign a big dog right back. Which, by the way, that is a fair strategy. You can do that. I'm sort of looking more along the lines of someone who we can bring in as an understudy to Kyle Walker, who has the potential to take over at that right back spot when Kyle Walker leaves. Now, that might not happen. We might bring in someone like Rico Lewis or Kabore, and they might do all right, but they might not quite make it as the number one. But me personally, I'm at this point now where I really want to see these youth players come into the team and become first-team players. And I think, actually, there's a widespread sort of movement in the UK at the moment of we want to see these academy players. We don't... Players, right? We all like the big signings, the Haalands and that. But we actually... I think fundamentally in this country, we do want to see academy players come through, and I think we've seen a real lack of that. And I think we've seen snippets. Obviously at City, we've seen Foden, we've seen Cole Palmer quite getting there. At Chelsea, they're doing a good job at Chelsea, getting some players in there as well. But I really want to see more academy players come into that first team. So me, I'd be looking at someone like Kabore or someone like Rico Lewis becoming an understudy with the hope and the potential that they can take that right back spot off Kyle Walker in 2-3 years.
Yeah, like Mason says there, Cowden seemed extremely positive about our academy, and I think we'll start seeing more soon. Yeah, I think because it's something that the club definitely have in mind. The club definitely want to be pushing more academy players through this football club. Do you know what I mean? And getting these players like up to it. Obviously, you've got like Cole Palmer coming through now, which is like I think that's the next best thing kind of thing. But it'd be really good to see like I don't think has it ever happened, bro. Like an actual full defensive academy player coming through. I know we had Taylor Howard-Burst. He played quite a bit, didn't he? Not loads. He played quite a bit. Obviously, Eric Garcia did play quite a bit. I don't know if you can really count that, but I think it'd just be nice for like say get a fullback, especially with all these talents, bro. I don't want to see all these talents go to waste in it. Like I don't want this. I don't want this to be a thing in it. Everyone's raving about all these right backs that we've got. There's loads of them. So at least try one, innit? Let's try one. Let them come into the side, especially with 5 subs next season as well. That might be good for the academy. Do you know what I mean? Because then, say like a game's dead, you can still strengthen, but also you can still like basically you can afford to bring in academy players and that with 5 subs and that. I think it's gonna be an interesting one to see what the club actually do. Obviously, if we do sign Cucurella, which obviously is looking more likely as the weeks go by, if we do sign Cucurella, then it'd be interesting to see if Cancelo just becomes the backup right back instead of like someone else, which for me is a bit of a shame because I prefer, for 2 reasons, I prefer Cancelo on the left and I want to see an academy player on the right. Assist King, by the way, said that he's in Manchester right now and he's just seen him taking selfies. He said he got a selfie with him as well. Tag us in it on City Extra Pod, isn't it? That's sick. I thought he was away on international duties, but maybe he's got some more media business to do. Yeah,
maybe. AB07, yes, so with a super chat. Thanks a lot for your support today, guys. Sends it to 179, says, a young centre-back, 2 full-backs, Leao and Phillips will be class. Well, there's a big question over Ake. We've not actually really spoken about Ake.
That's true.
And maybe we should do that on a separate stream, but just briefly, I think that there will be some teams looking at Ake this summer, maybe the likes of Arsenal. Gabriel is the worst centre-back I've ever seen in my life. They should get rid of him and get someone like Ake in.
I see actual Arsenal fans, bro, who love Gabriel.
Nah, they're deluded.
Bro, I don't get it. Gabriel is the worst centre-back I think I've ever seen, bro. He makes a mistake every single game.
He ain't good. Carl there, I think Newcastle should go in for him. Basically, any team in the top 10 that needs to improve their defence, that has the potential of competing, because he's a top-class centre-back in my opinion, and he's not going to play for any old team, I think they should be looking at Ake, and we should have a lot of people ringing us up this summer saying, is Ake available? I think Ake would be available, but I think we're going to demand top money.
Bro,
I want at least 65 million.
Yeah, bro. Look at basically, you go look at his Champions League performances and that, and go look how mint he was. Look how sick this guy's been when he comes into the side. Nah, mate, you ain't ever having him for less than 65. Do you know what I mean? Bro, do you know when Bournemouth were like, yeah, we want 75 mil or 80 mil? Do you know when United signed Dingy and Leicester were like, oh, we'll go get Ake?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we know you got 80 million, so give us that 80 million.
Spurs need to sort out their defence. You know what I mean? Spurs, there's so many teams that literally could do with Ake. Arsenal could do with Ake. Spurs could do with Ake. Newcastle could do with Ake. That's just 3. I've not even looked at the table to think of the other teams. There's so many teams that could come in with Ake.
Aston Villa's a good one as well.
Yeah, 65 million for Ake, I think, is a bargain price. I really, really do. Based on his performances this season and last season, he's a top-class professional. He's got experience at the top level, and I think if you are a director of football, right, or a manager in one of these teams, and you do not look at Ake, you are dumb. You are proper dumb.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. He asked him. Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was about to say that I in no way want Ake to leave this football club because he's very, very good. And I feel like with our defensive, how stretched our defence was this season, it'd be nice to at least keep him. Do you know what I mean? Because have that surety at the back, having them 4 centre-backs. But obviously it's up to Ake what he wants to do in that situation. I don't think he's going to leave. I think he likes being at his football club as well. And I think he'll recognise the ability to basically to want, like, we can go and win things, you know what I mean? I want to win things with this football club. Obviously, it all depends on what his situation is, and if the club are just like, yeah, we're going to let you go for this price, innit? I think Newcastle's a big one for me, because I think Eddie Howe might be able to, do you know what I mean? Might be able to twist his head a bit, do you know what I mean? Turn his head and just say, yo, look, we can have you here, get you on sick cash.
If Ake leaves, this will test how good we are or how bad we are at selling players, because if we get anything less than 60 million, we are a joke.
Bad.
We are a joke. We already know that we're not the best team at selling players, but if we sell Ake for less than 60 million, that's embarrassing. It really, really is. So,
question on that then, bro. If we did sell Ake, would you bring in a youth centre-back? Or would you be looking at going getting someone?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of players. We've got Harwell Bellis, very, very good player. We've got Mbete, good player. We've got Callum Doyle at Sunderland.
Callum Doyle looks like Laporte.
Yeah, and he's left-footed, I think, as well. So he could play on that left-hand side. Me personally, I think that at some point this manager and this club has to stop stacking players in positions, and if we have the players available in the academy that are capable of competing, then I think they need to be brave and shove them in there. So, me personally, I know this. I don't think a lot of people would agree with me on this, but if we were to sell Ake and we kept Diaz, Stones, and Laporte, I personally would not sign another centre back, and I would throw one of them players in there. So that's what I do, because I want to see academy players go in there. I know a lot of people might be like, nah, we need 4 top-class centre-backs. That's fine. My opinion is that I would get one of the academy players. Pep Guardiola, yes, sends in a dono. Says, Spurs have a better defence than Arsenal. Yeah, they do, but they need to be better, because Conte demands a top-class defence, and they don't have a top-class defence. They have a better defence than Arsenal, but it's still not top-class, so they need to improve.
I seen someone just say, I can't see it now, but I seen someone say it depends how long is left on Ake's deal, but he does have 3 years left. His deal ends in 2025, so surely we ain't getting done dirty on that Ake deal if we're selling. However, like, on all this, I don't think we're going to sell him. I don't think we're going to sell Ake. I think the club will be like, nah, don't want to sell him, because I think they'll be a bit worried about what happened last season.
Yeah,
I think that's why we won't sell him. And I think this season might be a weird one for Kyle Walker to see his injury situation, to see how many games out he has. I know obviously his injuries haven't been like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's pulled up all the time, or it looks like he's turning into glass. Do you know what I mean? The one against Atletico Madrid looked awful. Do you know what I mean? That was just a full, like, over twisted his leg, innit? So it'd be interesting this year for Kyle Walker anyway, because obviously he's getting on a bit, but he's still so sick. But obviously I don't think the club will want to have this whole stretched centre-back situation again, like we did towards the end of the year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Guys, if you've not done so already, please drop a thumbs up on the stream. We're currently on 345 likes. We've got 750 people in the stream. Let's see if we can get up to 400 likes, guys. So please drop a thumbs up on the stream if you've not done so already. It just helps other fans find the channel. If you are new, please subscribe. We're about 600 subscribers away from 55,000, man. So it's a massive milestone, and we really would appreciate it if you drop a subscribe on the channel completely free. Also, guys, the stream is today sponsored by the guys at Manscaped. Get the Kiwis out in the chat. Let's go. 85% of partners prefer a man who is groomed below the waist, and 96% of partners think bad grooming is a major turn-off. That's where Manscaped have come in to help us all out, including myself, lads. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a trimmer specifically designed with our crown jewels in mind. It has skin-safe technology to reduce those nicks and cuts and gives you the maximum confidence while trimming below the waist. It's also IPX7 waterproof rated, so you can operate in wet or dry conditions. It has a premium 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology and a massive 90-minute battery time, which is supported by its wireless electromagnetic charging function. With the Performance Package 4.0, you'll get the Crop Reviver with witch hazel and powerful odor defense. This keeps your balls protected after a good shave. Crop Preserver with its soothing aloe vera and advanced quick absorbing cream, keeping your balls feeling fresh and hydrated. And the Weed Whacker to trim ear and nose hair. The Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep you the most groomed man in the room. Use our code EXTRA20 XTRA20 at checkout and you'll save yourself 20% off your order and receive free international shipping. Yes. Pep Guardiola here with a 179 says, would you take James Justin from Leicester City? That's an interesting one. I like James Justin. I've seen him a few times.
Yeah, he looks decent. Is this the guy that got the serious injury? Or was that the other guy? The guy broke his leg at the start of the season.
Mate, literally every single one of Leicester's players got a serious injury this season, mate. It was absolutely horrendous. I was looking
They did go for a bad time then.
Yeah, like literally the whole squad was injured, but yeah, it was him. He got a ligament injury.
Oh no, sorry, I was on about Fofana. Fofana snapped his leg.
This guy still got a ligament injury.
That's so bad.
He missed 50 matches.
50 matches.
He got dusted. Was this the guy actually who got injured in pre-season? Or was that Fofana? This is how bad Leicester.
Yeah, one of them was at the start of the year. One of them was Justin got an ACL last year and he's still not back.
Mate, they finished 8th. I actually think he's done a pretty sick job there at Leicester. Given the fact that half of his team are out injured, that's actually not a bad finish.
Oh, there you go. Fofana, he broke his leg in pre-season against Villarreal. That's the one that was in pre-season.
And James Justin
just done his ACL.
Mate, that's actually wild. Yeah, I think that's actually pretty sick from Brendan Rodgers.
Maybe that's why people were calling for him to get the sack, but people they're stuck with him in it. And I reckon they're going, yeah. To be fair, your team's dying here. Like everyone's getting injured left, right, and centre. And Vardy got bare injuries this year, didn't he? He was out. He was out loads.
Thing is with James Justin as well. I've seen someone put this in the chat before. James Justin, by all accounts, can play both left back and right back. So that might be a potential option. If you're going to set up for this season as Kyle Walker right back, Cancelo left back, and you need a player who can play sort of anywhere, just fill in, that might be a potential option.
I think it'll be Cucurella and Cancelo will be that guy who switches.
Yeah, but look, he's a good player. The problem is he's obviously had a horrendous season with his injury. He has been back for quite some time, but I think it's probably going to take him another 6 months until he's probably at the top of his game, because I think when you get an injury like that, as Patrick will probably know, it'll probably take you some time until like you're fully back at it, because you've been sat around for a year doing nothing. Dylan, yes, Dylan. How you doing, man? It says Saka from Arsenal or Salah, 1 year left on his right wing. Well, I think Saka's massively overrated. So if you're asking me who would I rather have, I'd probably say Salah, bro.
I'd want Salah over Saka. However, you're not going to get either. Saka's Arsenal's golden boy.
Yeah.
Basically, look at it in the Phil Foden situation. Would City sell Phil Foden? No. Arsenal won't sell Saka, innit? Obviously, he might at one point decide, you know what, I want to do better than this. I want to be playing Champions League football and that. But I don't think they'll sell him this season. Definitely not. And Salah, that's not happening. That's definitely not happening.
Yeah.
Is it going to be interesting, though? Because he said that he's going to stay next season, Mo Salah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mane's getting off. Mo Salah will stay this season. Yeah. But there's still nothing about him signing the contract. He's just saying he's going to stay. So then does he just leave on a free? And he just go, right, it's in a bit. I'm going to go get my... Then again, bro, it's the Raheem Sterling. It's the player power there. Because if he smashes it again this year, he goes and gets mega cash.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happens there, man, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, look, it's an interesting one in regard to the defence. I think things will become a lot clearer, I think, when and if this Cucurella deal does get done.
Yeah.
I think if that gets announced, which sounds like it will, but we're still not getting like mega. Like I think Jack Gordon come out and was like, he's at the top of the list, but he didn't come out and say it's done. He just said it's at the top of the list. I think once the Cucurella deal is announced, if it gets announced, I think that will then make things a lot clearer as to what the strategy and what City's plan is for this defence. I don't think we'll sign another right back this season if we sign Cucurella. I think we'll have enough defensively.
Yeah.
Especially if we keep Rico Lewis or Kabore at the football club, which I really, really hope we do.
I hope we do.
By all accounts, Calvin Phillips is also on the cards. Now, this for me, I'm almost more convinced that Calvin Phillips will join than Cucurella, yet Cucurella's seemingly the more advanced deal. And the reason I say that is Calvin Phillips is clearly too good for Leeds now. That's not a dig at Leeds. Leeds just avoided relegation. Calvin Phillips is an England international. So he's clearly too good for Leeds. So he will be asking to leave that football club, in my opinion, this summer. He's also older than Cucurella, so time ain't really on his side in terms of that.
Also, there's a rumour of a release clause.
There's rumours of a release clause. It fits our style of play. We're the best club in England in terms of winning trophies. I'm almost more convinced that deal's going to get done than Cucurella, yet Cucurella's the one that's more advanced by all accounts.
I think it speaks a lot when Calvin Phillips has just changed to the same agent as Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
That same agency, by the way, leaked the fact that Jack Grealish had the £100 million release clause.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll see something similar. Maybe he's changed agency to Jack Grealish and then to the same one as Jack Grealish, and they've obviously City will know the situation. City will know whether there is a release clause or not. And obviously us as fans, we're kind of like outside at the moment from this whole deal. There's not too much news going on, and I feel like that is because he has just changed agents. But I do expect both of these deals to ramp up. Calhoun did say in the interview, innit, like obviously he wants these players done by July the 1st. He wants these done rapid. But it doesn't always end up like that because end of the day you have to deal with a selling club. It's not as easy as just picking.
The only way that Cucurella and Calvin Phillips doesn't get done rapid is if they're asking like ridiculous transfer fees. At the end of the day, I don't know what Brighton paid for Cucurella.
15 million.
15 million. If we're offering 35, you've more than doubled your money in less than a year, right? In a year's time. So surely you're going to accept that. If you're not, then you're being greedy. Calvin Phillips has got 2 years left on his deal. He's a Leeds boy. Are you really going to hang him out to dry and demand top cash? I don't think they will. I think we'll get him for around 40 to 50 million. I don't think we'll go over that. So, look, I think if they're reasonable, the selling club... The thing is, people always say, oh, City ruining football. Well, is it not that the selling club is ruining football? Because the selling club is demanding ridiculous fees, and people can say, well, you don't have to sign him. But what we're meant to do is just not sign any players ever. We have to sign players. Every club has to sign players. Mm-hmm. But because we're rich, clubs demand extra money. So, and they do that on every single player. So what are we meant to do? Just not sign football players. We have to sign football players. At the end of the day, if the selling clubs weren't demanding such a ridiculous transfer fee, because at the end of the day, we can pay this. We can pay that. We can pay 100 million for Jack Grealish. We could pay over 30 million for Roque Santa Cruz. We can pay Lescott 25 million for the transfer fee. We don't mind. But at the end of the day, what's actually happening is the selling clubs are all actually just inflating the transfer fees themselves. Because we'll continue to pay. But what happens is then the selling clubs, when they're going for a player, that selling club will then use that price as a benchmark.
They shoot himself in the foot.
Well, look at how much Lescott went for. Look at how much this guy went for.
It's the Maguire to United situation.
Exactly.
That's the prime example of that. Harry Maguire goes to United for 80 to 90 million, whatever it was. And then Leicester go, right, we'll just go get Ake. And then Bournemouth go, we want 80 to 90 million. We know you've got that cash. We want that. We think he's worth that. We think he's better than Maguire. And they're like, what? That's not a thing. But it says, obviously, people know we have cash. When they know you have cash, that price goes up. But I like City's City do this thing now. We don't just like pay these prices. We could, like you say, we could. We don't just pay these prices out of nowhere anymore. The club values a player at what they think he's worth. And then they go for that price.
Yeah.
Basically, City will go for that price and they'll try and do a deal with it. They'll try and make it work. And then, obviously, but we won't like be rinsed anymore. We're a bit more like chill on it. Obviously, people say, "Oh, rents Jack Grealish 100 million," but I think that was a release clause situation anyway.
Yeah. Also, guys, we need 1 like for 400 likes, so please drop a thumbs up on the stream if you've not done so already. Pep Guardiola with a 449 super donation. Yes, Bray. He says Arsenal fans said that Saka was the next Lionel Messi. They're delusional. Well, I hope they didn't say that he was the next Lionel Messi, because that is delusional. Could he be a good player? Yes. Does he have the potential to be a top-class player? I guess. Do I see it? I don't know. I still think that something's missing a little bit. Maybe it's the team he's at. Maybe if he was in a better side, he'd be a better player. I don't know. But I still think that he's a bit overrated, to be honest with you. I still think there's a lot of players out there that I'd rather have in my team than him. But he's clearly a decent player.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with Saka. It's going to be interesting to see where his career goes. And that. Obviously, he's still very young. So, obviously, it looks like he does have potential there to obviously do better. And it's going to be interesting to see if he stays at Arsenal for as long as they think he's going to stay for, because he might actually just...
If I was him, I'd be another release clause merchant.
Yeah.
If I was Saka, this tells me a lot about Saka. If he doesn't sign that deal, because he's going to sign a new contract. If he doesn't sign a new contract with a release clause, that tells me that maybe he doesn't back himself. You know what I mean? Because he's just happy to speak. Because obviously, if you've got a contract with no release clause, the club doesn't have any obligation to sell you. You can smash up the dressing room, you can do what you want and say, I'm leaving, but they'll just go, no, you're not. Because we've got the contract. So if you don't get a release clause, I think that Harry Kane thing last year has taught people that you need a written release clause in your contract, and if you don't, then you do not have any expectation of leaving the football club.
Don't be doing no gentleman's agreement and that. Do you know what I mean? That ain't a thing. Rue in the chat has put, Jordan Lewis, when's the Haaland announcement video coming out? I have no idea, innit? Although I have seen a lot of people freaking out. Right, people are freaking out over Twitter about Erling Haaland. Like, I seen someone say, "Oh, Real Madrid are gonna come in and steal him." Like, nah, he's a City player. He is. Do you know what I mean? Everything he's done, he's a City player.
Yeah, but there's some people, bro.
People
it's not on the Sky Sports homepage saying it's a done deal. It ain't done.
People basically, it's like, "Oh, City haven't done the announcement video, or they've not done the announcement video." So, do you know what I mean? It's not a thing. It's not a thing. Like, I know that Alvarez. Someone put in the chat before actually that Alvarez has been added to the squad list on the City website, which is decent. But Haaland hasn't yet. But look at Caldoon's interview yesterday. Man speaking about Haaland. Do you know what I mean? He's all. Do you know what I mean? He's not saying, "Oh, when we get the Haaland deal done." Like, nah, it's done.
Yeah, Mind Flayer here says people got PTSD, man, from the Kane deal, bro.
Yeah.
The deal's done. The guy's in a City kit. It's a deal. It's all signed. It's just it can't become active until the 1st of... Was it 1st of June or 1st of July?
July, apparently. So that's when if I think 1st of July, it's either June or July, but officially becomes a City player kind of thing. But the announcement video, that City doing that, they might just be working on it until the 1st of July. You know what I mean? They'll have a date in mind. And
it's all lawyers. Something will be going on. You know what I mean? It's all chill, though. Don't worry about it. Yes, Akal. Hopefully I said your name right there, Bray. Thanks a lot for the donation. He says, did you see Zinchenko signing a new contract with City? He says, I'm a PSG fan. We will get Paul Pogba and Tchouaméni and win the UCL next year. Well, apparently Paul Pogba's going Juventus, unless I've missed something there.
Yeah,
I thought Tchouaméni was going Real Madrid.
I seen Pogba going to Juventus as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, like something big on that, innit? So.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if you'll win the Champions League next year. But did we see the Zinchenko deal? I've not seen anything, bro. But he might well get a new contract. But we've sort of. I don't know if you've been in the streams over the last few days, man. But we've spoken a lot about Zinchenko and what to do with Zinchenko, and the chat is very split. I think the poll was like 51% to 49%, so it's very split. And we will just have to wait and see what happens with Zinchenko. We're on 430 likes, guys, so please drop a thumbs up on the stream if you've not done so already. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. We will be back tonight at 8 p.m. We're going to be reviewing the Caldoon Part 1 interview. So if you've not already seen Caldoon's interview, he's done Part 1 of the interview. Is up. It's on City's website. It's probably on City's YouTube channel as well. Go check that out, and then we'll be doing a live stream tonight at 8 p.m. speaking about that. You know, tearing apart what he's saying to try and make some sense of it, and we can have a conversation about Caldoon's interview Part 1. So make sure you go check that out before 8 p.m. UK time today, so you stay in the loop and you know what we're talking about tonight. Other than that, I don't think there's much more to say on the Reece James sort of right back, left back situation. We'll probably speak about it more, especially as the Cucurella deal gets closer and closer. Anything else left to say, Bray?
No, I do think the whole Cucurella thing will start popping off soon. So obviously there'll be plenty of fullback talk going on then, and it's going to be interesting. Obviously with the news this morning about Zinchenko, about him potentially wanting more game time, and I think if that's the case, then it'll be a farewell for Zinchenko. But like I say, depends what the situation is. It's exciting. It's exciting being a City fan. Do you know what I mean? All these transfers and that. Just mint, isn't it? And also, I'm glad to be back. Doing streams and that. Although I am sweating my back out right now.
Yeah. Guys, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Get your Kiwis out in the chat one last time for Manscaped. And we'll see you tonight, 8 PM. Go watch that Caldoon video. See you in a bit. 85% of partners prefer a man who is groomed below the waist, and 96% of partners think bad grooming is a major turn-off. That's where Manscaped have come in to help us all out, including myself, lads. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a trimmer specifically designed with our crown jewels in mind. It has skin-safe technology to reduce those nicks and cuts and gives you the maximum confidence while trimming below the waist. It's also IPX7 waterproof rated, so you can operate in wet or dry conditions. It has a premium 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology and a massive 90-minute battery time, which is supported by its wireless electromagnetic charging function. With the Performance Package 4.0, you'll get the Crop Reviver with witch hazel and powerful odor defense. This keeps your balls protected after a good shave. Crop Preserver with its soothing aloe vera and advanced quick absorbing cream, keeping your balls feeling fresh and hydrated. And the Weed Whacker to trim ear and nose hair. The Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep you the most groomed man in the room. Use our code EXTRA20 XTRA20 at checkout and you'll save yourself 20% off your order and receive free international shipping.